So back to Teresa and the worthiness and worthiness. I'm working with clients. It seems like it's always the forefront of the discussion. The other night, and then I left just after a client call the other day and was on the way out, and I went by a thrift store that's just around the corner from me that I've gone by, I don't know, 1,000 times. And the name of the store is called Worth Repeating. It's like a consignment store. And it just popped right out of me. I mean, like I say, so can we just touch more on about the worthiness and why it seems to be such a thread in our development and our knowing and everything?
It is inevitable for you to compare at all times. You creating judgments by comparing, by interacting with others. Judgments, opinions, beliefs. Those moments while interacting with others are getting you to prepare yourself for discovery of more and more sense of worthiness. Every time there is a talk about worthiness, it's just about, are you at that moment seeing yourself from your fully integrated, blended place, or are you seeing yourself more in interacting with others? And the answer is that it's always a dance between the two. There is never the moment where you're fully not feeling worthy, and there is never a moment where you're fully feeling worthy, because you're constantly dancing within all of that. So that understanding that there is no separation between physical and non-physical part of you also means that there is no separation between not feeling worthy and feeling worthy. There is always the dance between the two, and it's just a matter of what is dominantly within you. Then that puts you at the place to understand that interaction, collaborating, that criticism you get sometimes in a feedback is great opportunity for you to check in with your steady place of worthiness, and also what is worth repeating. Is it worth repeating for you to go into that purely focused interacting part, or is that just the dance between that and this sense of everything that exists, which is you? Everything you give your attention to is going to go back to you in the sense of either more or less worthiness based off of, are you interacting or integrating the benefit of formulating the question in that particular interaction back to you, where you can, on that discovery from perimeter of you back to you, you can see all of these beautiful components of divine creating that you're constantly part of, whether you're sometimes aware of it or not.
And in working with clients, and when the topic comes up about that.
And working with clients that represent your reflection of where you are steady at that moment, if you really get to be honest with yourself, this question comes up. And what is your reaction when non-worthiness comes through that mirror of a client?
Well, that's where I was kind of going with this.
We know.
It has to be there. So it's a great opportunity for me and a great awareness for me as well.
Within the conversations with others, we often talk about this place of answers within, questions on perimeter. As you're interacting with others, it is not only that you're formulating questions. This question-answer dance is happening at all times. This worthiness, non-worthiness dance is happening at all times. And when you're on your own, you have easier way of arranging your attention. That is true if you can keep your attention within. And then when you're interacting with someone being a person, someone being a TV show or content on your mobile phone, whichever of these gets your attention is that you're constantly dancing with that. So as you have a client, you actually have this reflection and then you go back from within. So as in a reflection, if you sense a little bit of not so much worthiness, you don't want to stay in a place of constantly continuing to reflect. You want to be on a lookout to understand that even moment by moment in a conversation, there is this beautiful dance where you can see a reflection of not so much worthiness, bring it back in the place of feeling steady, and then continue to converse. And even in a speed of conversation, sometimes we like to ask, where is the rush? This is so easy to practice with others as you understand that they are your reflections. So being aware, as you seem to be very clear that your clients are a reflection of what you see there, then you can influence by your choices what is coming more and more as a reflection to you in that conversation. And sometimes it's the change of the topic that will get you there sooner, dancing between the topics. And sometimes you're so steady in that topic that you can take it back in. Kosta has these conversations with Armand all the time and started noticing difference in their conversations about certain topics. You see, there's this certain dance of question answer on a certain topic that sometimes sticks around and gets pretty similar to same outcome. And then sometimes in a conversation where something not so desirable comes back through reflection of Armand to Kosta, sometimes he repeats it. He keeps playing this ping pong on that topic until he beats the dead horse and then really needs to withdraw back in. And sometimes it's easier because that particular topic just dances back. Sometimes he stays quieter for a moment, for an extra moment, staying quieter to not absorb that reflection that does not serve him, but just to see it, that it's not really a true reflection of who he in integrated form is, in this blended form with divine, that he's never unworthy, that this question is generating just more desire, more awareness about that, and then from that point on the conversation takes a totally different place. And sometimes it takes a moment to dance like that. Sometimes the beautiful things, beautiful mirror reflections, as the beauty is the general state of him observing Armand, is there with a little bit more ease. It's always your choice.
Something about, thank you. The phrase that you've come up with, however you want to say it, what's the rush? I mean, many of us on the call talk during the week and we laugh and we say, what's the rush? And we laugh, but talk to me more about what is the rush and why, in this case, I feel sometimes the rush, or we feel a rush, and why do you keep...
The rush can only show up to you when there is so much of your attention going outwards. If that is your dominant place, that is always going to be the case. You will always feel you can do something more. You will always feel like there is something else to catch up with, or something else to quicker to see or to experience. And you want to have that. That will never cease to exist in this and any other physical iteration because there's so much stimulation around. Kosta had found himself over the last few days observing quite a lot of YouTube videos, and he was organizing some of his dance videos on a computer too. And then as he's watching tennis as one of his favorite things, he was also observing dancing and being more active in dance over the last couple of weeks than he's been in 5 months triggered some of these feelings of him wanting to dance and planning when he's in Serbia to go to his home studio and maybe dance even every single day. And then some of these ideas coming through back to him to come back into this championship competition mode once things resume and what he can do. And then at some point he switches that back and thinks that was a beautiful idea, and I don't know if it's gonna come through or not, but I had a great sensation from it. And then sometimes he looks up in the example of so many friends. He has this particular person that he gave attention to while he was working. He was a collaborative component of this person coming through in United States, and his desire was to become social media influencer. And he brought him over as a dancer teacher and saw this desire, and him and Armand kept being in awe of how someone can release resistance and go with the flow and become what they wanted to be. In the numbers of this following coming from 20,000 last December to 120 in February, and now in the month of August is 1.8 million. And Kosta's excitement of seeing that example and thinking, would he want to do something like this too? Because just that observing that whole growth experience and that splurge of energy that just showed up knowing, being a first-hand person, is from the earlier talk, first-hand facilitator of this environment for this person. That's what he would observe. Or seeing this desire and see how important this desire is for this person, and now seeing it in this not only idea place, but in a full-blown experience of this exponential release into physicality, is what causes so many of these other ideas. And then that shiny thing, tennis, that shiny thing, social media, that shiny thing, dance, that shiny thing, writing a book, that shiny thing, writing a course for people to change their habits, a lot of different things. You see, there is not enough hours in the day to do everything based off of all these curiosities. And then sometimes he would catch himself with all of these things and understand that there is a lot of stimulation sometimes coming from outside, and all of that stimulation, it's time to integrate. And he is coming back to one of his habits where he would turn off his phone completely for half a day or a day. No social media, no emails, no conversations with anyone, and then observe only and integrating all of those things and allowing the thoughts to settle in from all of this interaction back into within, and then understanding what is that ease of the next step and the next step and the next step. And that some of those observations outside that brings you this feeling of rush is only because there is no focusing mechanism that does not want to do a lot of things. Everyone wants to experience it. What is there not to desire? What is there not to desire to have so much rush? It is just when that side of the equation, as we talk question, answer, then we also talk within on a perimeter. The balance between that, the dance between that is the same like the dance between question, answer. And then the dance and balance between that is what gives you the most amount of the excitement. Not too much rush and question and then a lot of answers. It is this continuous flow in between of all of those. Question, answer, the beauty discovery that gives you sometimes that sense of a lot of movement, as we described in Kosta's friend example, from 20,000 to 1.8 million, which seems significant in numbers, but seems and looked so easy. And it goes like that, more there is that awareness, it comes easier and easier. Now it goes exponentially, almost on an autopilot, when you are with full force experiencing those things that satisfy you so much. Then that dance between within, without, within, perimeter with others becomes so good, and you become so steady on those waves like on a hoverboard, that then you can cruise with like excellent steam behind your wings to give you that power versus keeping it more in a tranquil mode. All of them are very satisfying, and all of them are there for you to take moment by moment as you choose.
Wow, thank you.
Indeed, brilliant conversation.